Yo, what's up guys, your boy Marskies about quality content, and today, how Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 changed CoD forever. This isn't exaggerating, it's not clickbait, it's honestly just a fact. It might sound like a hot take to some of you, like maybe jetpacks changed CoD forever, but let's get into what I'm talking about. So where to begin? Honestly, there's so many places where I could kick this off. So for starters, NW 2019 was indisputably revolutionary for the franchise as a whole. Now, there's a handful of things we all love about 2019 and what it introduced and continued to carry on years after, but there's a plethora of things the community does not like. So the thing is though, is the game any good? Did it succeed in making fans happy and satisfied? That's something we're going to get into deeply here today. And for the record guys, I myself compete in CoD. I travel to majors, I compete in challengers, with the dream of going pro, the goal of going pro, right?
What are you doing?
So, I spend a lot of time playing Call of Duty. I'm a nerd when it comes to CoD. I know the smallest minute details about CoD that would just fly over someone's head. I got you guys today. So we're gonna break this game down in a way that other people probably haven't even seen on YouTube break things down. We're not worried about the campaign, which is a good campaign. It's immersive, of course, very cinematic, but that's not what's gonna make the CoD for the year. It's all about the multiplayer, the content, so on and so forth, right? So of course I'm very passionate about this. That being said, I am biased. I love CoD dearly, but I'm also very harsh on CoD. But I have a lot of critiques that are just nitpicking, things that might be dumb, but I have a reason for all of it. So end of the day, this is my job. Might not be getting paid salary for it at the moment, but this is what I do. With that being said, we're gonna get straight into MW 2019. Praised by casuals, hated by competitors.
The rules have changed.
Modern Warfare 2019 released October 25th, 2019. And it's so perfectly fit for me to call it the CDL era of CoD, which I'll touch on later. MW had the community jumping for joy. Why is that? Because, when was the last time we played a modern warfare series? We finally getting that return to the series, which isn't something we had since technically NW3 back in 2011, which was led by Sledgehammer on the multiplayer side of things. So still Modern Warfare, but the love for Infinity Ward, people, that's where it's at. Ghost wasn't Modern Warfare, although it was modern. And Infinite Warfare, which was led by IW, just jetpack CoD, you know what I'm saying? People just don't like jetpack CoDs. So yeah, it's been a very long time. 2011 is nothing but a memory at this point. So majority of us are drooling at the fact we are playing Modern Warfare once again with all the beloved characters in a fresh reboot of the series. Oh, and when I mention majority, definitely not me. I'm not drooling. I was never excited. I did not care for this game very much because, one, it's Infinity Ward. They make the worst CoDs competitively, hands down. And I know this is a hot take, but the best game they've ever made for competitive Call of Duty is Infinite Warfare. Yep, the game with the most dislikes on a review, the undisputed GOAT of trash. But as the years gone by, we got games like Vanguard and MW2 2022 that take the cake easily, in my opinion, in the community opinion as well. But of course, let me explain. IW is the first game that IW has ever made, sounds weird to say, that had hardpoint, as well the continued mode of uplink for competitive. So we had hardpoint, S&D, uplink, which is amazing rotation, best it's ever been in Call of Duty. The meta was really good. We had the MV4, the K-bar, and my baby, the ERAD, which each gun was able to flourish in its respective range. MV being the main AR, sit back, anchor type of gun. K-bar was the flex, kind of do it all. And the ERAD that was just excel up close. But the skill gap in this game, you could use either of those guns and excel in areas that it's not technically supposed to do and just absolutely fry somebody. Because, if you had it like that, you had it like that back in the day. Solid TTK and dead silence was the thing, believe it or not. It's sad I have to even mention that being a thing in Call of Duty, because nowadays We don't know if we're gonna have it when a new COD drops. Is it a perk? Is it in the game at all? Is it a field upgrade? You know, and it's so mind-boggling that something as like special as Deddy is like a conspiracy theory. Are we gonna have it next year or not? The only thing that's mentioned about Infinite Warfare is, you know, it's just isn't something you see in other CODs from them. If you take 2019, didn't have Deddy, horrible maps. Ghost had Deddy, great perks, you could strafe in that game, but TTK was kind of crazy. Probably one of the fastest we've ever had. So yeah, every other title has something missing or just brutally wrong. So IW is not the best people, in my opinion, as developers in making any Call of Duty game. But I'll leave it at that. Just understand that Treyarch is the GOAT developer, hands down. Modern Warfare 2019 changed everything that made COD an arcade shooter and made it blend with realism, and even graphically this game was very impressive, and I still think it's the best looking COD we've had to this date. And it just had a cinematic feel to it. And that's not all. I mean, they went for that realism all the way down to the movement. The maps became a complete milsim. The guns, everything. This became a milsim shooter. I thank the Lord that we even discovered slide canceling, which is not the only thing we got. We also got bunny hopping, but I just don't think those things were intended. I think we kind of just found that as, you know, a community. But I don't think that was meant to be in the game, because that just completely breaks the philosophy of what this game was supposed to be and how it honestly played for the first few months or so, and even the first year overall, compared to just how cracked everyone became year 2, year 3. Like the TikTokers, you know, those guys, something else. Make you want to throw it watching their gameplay. Of course, with slide canceling and bunny hopping, it added some fluidity to the game. As you can see in this gameplay, you know, I'm definitely hopping around and slide canceling and all that jazz. But realistically, besides that, that's all I have to just be fluid in this game. IW was so hardcore, they added this thing called tactical sprint, which I don't know what's tactical about it, because you're definitely not getting a kill if this was real life. Tac sprinting into the open like that, you're gonna get gunned down in broad daylight. So I don't know what makes it tactical, but people love it, people hate it. I personally like tac sprinting. It is, you know, you're just even faster. I like to be fast, but I mean, if we could take out tac sprinting and just give me lightweight as a perk and call it a day, I would appreciate that, because tac sprinting does affect your sprint to fire time even heavier, and that's another thing that's been affected kind of bad since 2019 and so on, which I'll elaborate on all of that as we talk about more of the guns and the mechanics. But overall, this game felt like a movie, and it took place while we're on lockdown due to COVID, so the whole year itself was a movie. Everything about the 2019-2020 year was just a movie. Who was this game even made for anyways? Well, was it campers? Was it the fast players? I'm gonna be honest, the campers. That's what this game was made for. The couch dads at home that are 40 years old with 3 kids, get home angry, drink a beer, maybe hit their kids, I don't know. But even right here, as you can see, they mentioned making these maps with safe spaces.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things we really want to do with this game is we want to get new players in the game, and we want them to kind of like, we don't want them to just get punched in the mouth over and over again until they leave. Our weapons are a bit more lethal than they were in the Black Ops, the recent more Black Ops, and that helps a lower skilled player get a kill when they otherwise wouldn't, have some success, and then feel like now there's a desire to get better and to get another kill. Our maps are a little bit more porous, and you know, we want those players to have a safe place to take their time.
And of course, purposely making Dead Silence a field upgrade, so this kind of led you to wanting to be like, you know, my play style. I'm like a rat. I like to roam. I like to sneak through, make flanks. When can I be a rat and when can I not be a rat? And it just throws out the whole variable. Is my Deddy ready to make this play? Oh, it's ready? Okay, I'm gonna make this play, potentially win my team the game. And then next time around, same circumstance, I don't have Deddy, and I'm in a situation where I need it, and I start making a play, and it's GG's. It's over. They heard me. They're over here 180, just gunning me down. This leads me back into the map design philosophy and how different of an approach it was from every past Call of Duty title, which this game only closely resembles maybe the COD for the original MW2. They decided to create the maps this year realistically. It makes sense as if you were actually there. I mean, every house has a kitchen, it has a bathroom, there's probably gonna be a bedroom, proper amount of windows, and then there's gonna be an uphill, which would make sense, right? There's literally a gunfight map. I think it's called Uphill, if I'm not mistaken, but one team spawns on top of a hill and the other one spawns at the bottom, which is poor. That is completely unfair, but that's realistic. Again, back to the whole realism and mil sim vibe this game has and the cinematic S to it. In this game, you can look through cracks, pick 1 out of 10 plus windows, angles to hold a single lane from. The game gets so nerdy to where knowledge of the maps does become a skill gap, technically. So if you were to get on the game today and play TDM and not shoot the ship, because mind you, that's what everyone ended up playing once that became a thing, you might have a decent experience because it's just the game has evolved since the first year of the game. Good luck trying to just play a non-objective mode back in 2019 to 2020. I can recall playing a map like Gunrunner. You just sit C-Dom or A-Dom between one of the two buildings, which is I think P2 and P5, I don't know, right? People won't cross that line. There's no reason to cross the line. You got to keep that in mind. And the game became a kill streak game and not a score streak game, which there was a perk to change it to score streaks, but default was kill streaks, right? So there was also no incentive to leave spawn. Why would you want to leave spawn? And on top of that, the game, which is really good about this game, is the sound design is amazing, crisp, clear. You know what everything sounds like. You know if they're on metal, wood, if it's wet. So that only furthers my point why people don't even want to move. I mean, they hear you pushing them. Why are they going to move? And for the players who actually casuals who want Daddy, and then they don't have Daddy, why move? You know, they're not as confident. Someone who competes or has years of experience who doesn't care. They will run and gun people without Daddy and just do their thing, right? So the maps alone destroyed it pretty heavily in just terms of flow, pacing, and if you think that's bad for the casual play, just imagine how it was competitively. There's players who peaked in MW. There's their best CoD, and that's it. Like, this game is a whole different can of worms. But if we compare this to BO4 just the year prior, where we had 3-lane maps, dead silence, like actually like overall good movement and just timings and intervals and like no delay on anything, we went from running around having fun in pubs to being scared to move, because if you move, the bullet might actually come through the monitor and take you out too, because of how real this game was. We had beautiful vibrant colors in BO4 with quick draw on your gun. You had stock, shot punching, and abilities, which give or take if that's a good thing or not in COD, and a much slower TTK, although not as good of how it was in Cold War. I think Cold War did 150 health a lot better than BO4, but still, we actually got caught lacking in BO4. Yeah, the stem shot, which that's a different thing there. I don't know if people like stem shots. I think it was cool, but definitely does not need to be in COD. But you could like strafe away behind a wall or something and survive. You're just not gonna walk out and die. You could if the person shoots straight, but the skill gap is so much higher and takes more time. You don't just hit 2 bullets and call it a day. And if you already aren't leaning back chilling right now, let's compare these CODs that I'm about to show here and compare it to the gameplay of MW 2019, and you tell me which ones give you that arcade feeling. And not talking about graphics, but just the way the game plays and feels.
Kismet, Dashi though, is up next. As E6 are making this push work out, but again, the spawners for Optic are so close. That top courtyard to the left of them. Coming in through the front line, Dashi! It's all 5 for Dashi! For streaks.
Nice trophy as well there. Combined with TJ's War Machine, he's going to be this perfect entrance. Finds one, finds the second, finds the third. TJ! He's got a TJ! Oh my goodness! TJ! Oh my word! What is this game?
Give him number 7. Champs demands it! 20 points now for the win!
They are going to be 5 seconds away from sending us to a map 5, but it comes down to 1 or 2 pushes. We know how hard it is to break this. Hook and Alien Shotzi, oh no, shutting it down. That's all 5 dead.
All dead.
Oh, the spawns.
They're not done yet, though. One final push for one final contest. The tournament is decided here.
They got a kill.
And Illy's there up top. They got him out of the hard point.
Got him
they
out.
might still be able to get in. They gotta fly. Go, go, go. Get in. They're able to get in. Everybody is into the point. 247. 247. It's madness inside. Rocker. They do it. They do it.
I can make an argument easily that jetpack CODs are closer to the COD formula than MW 2019 and the games to come after. And the part that's so interesting is whenever I talk about this game to my IRLs or just casual people, this game is at least A tier. This is a great Call of Duty game. I mean, people love this game. Now, mainly the brain goes to Warzone when you think about the game, but they still put this game in at least A tier. If you ask anyone who competed playing this game or has just been playing COD for like 10 years, this game gets like a D tier at best. I was just thinking about the highlights from the base maps in this game. In my mind, I'm thinking of Gunrunner and Hackney Yard. Although that map was a headache for sure competitively, it was still a small map that allowed you to kind of run around and have fun. The camping aspect of it wasn't too bad compared to the rest of the game, but that's really it. I can't think of anything past that. So this game, the map just straight up sucked. And not only did the map suck, something was wrong with the engine or something. I don't know how to explain it. But for example, mid-map and C-Flag of Petrograd has a no aim assist, which is absurd. And I know people are going to come at me for saying stuff about aim assist and complaining that it's not good or whatever the case is. But if I knew I didn't have aim assist, like I'm not playing with aim assist, okay, I already know what to do when I'm shooting my gun. But knowing I have aim assist and it should slow down and like have that feel, and then all of a sudden you're challenging somebody, you're thinking really fast, you're just prepared that when you aim and snap on them, it's gonna feel away, and it doesn't. And then you just have no aim assist at all. And that's all of mid-map on Petrograd. On any heady grass, I think there's even a clip of Shotzi getting a crazy feed because nobody had aim assist on him. And this game, all it took was a pole, a railing, a tree, typically a car heady, and random spots on the maps. There was very specific situations where there just isn't any aim assist. So it's weird because once this game came out and all the games that come after it, I would say aim assist has gotten much stronger because of Warzone, which I will explain as, you know, the time comes. To go really tie in back to map design, this year introduced squad spawns as well as quadrants. So squad spawns, if you don't already know what that is, pretty much you die and respawn on an ally, right? And quadrants, there's 4 quadrants. You take the 4 corners of the map and you have influence on all these pieces of the map, you know, depending where you are. And I also think how this is a 5v5 COD, so that doesn't help any better. So I don't want to get too nerdy into it, but just think about, as I said, the Ramaza domination, B dom, and you have A dom. So the only one you don't have is Bag Barber, and all you could do is just chill and just trap them Bag Barber over and over and over. And as for hardpoint, it's actually the same thing when it's Barber Hill and especially trying to rotate out until the new hill is popped. I believe there's not a difference, but there's actually a rule in the pro league and competitive that you can't kill yourself. You cannot just purposely all 5 of you kill yourself, because that will give you entirely brand new spawns because there's no squad mate anymore to spawn on. So it's actually funny how we have a rule where you can't kill yourself. Remember when I mentioned this game being a mill sim? Well, one of the saddest things about this COD and every COD to come after it is the guns and the movement. No longer can you strafe on someone, forcing them to micro adjust their aim. If we compare the strafe and aim walking speed to MW3 BO2, Ghost Jetpacks BO4, yes, and even World War II, honestly, World War II, you could strafe. And you know, people remember it to be like a bot game, but it's not. You can break someone down just by jerking your left stick to the side, to the other side, vigorously. Hard MW 2019 ADS speeds were instant, offering a skilled player to snap on other players and possibly survive by misprinting someone. You know, that run and gun arcade feel that I'm always talking about. But now guns don't snap anymore. Sprint to fire times are heavily delayed, and again, it's a mill sim vibe, so guns have so much visual recoil, which MW2, the current one, has taken that to a whole nother level that makes 2019 look beautiful with the recoil, although it is still some visual recoil there. But how exactly did this all become a thing? One word for you: gunsmith. No longer were guns fluid, where all you needed to get cracked was quick draw and stock. Maybe throw on grip, long barrel, trying to map people, you know, add some damage range. But now we have 5 attachments, which technically isn't new, but the reality of it is that none of them do much. Like, you need 5 attachments to adjust this, put that up. But what's even worse about it is that every attachment has a con. And typically you could really feel those cons compared to the Pro. So no matter how I build an MP5, it's always going to turn out slower than any other previous MP5 in COD history. Even LMGs in older Call of Duty titles are snappier and more responsive than a sub in games like 2019 and after. So really, you build a class just trying to find the middle ground to where you're not too hard in one area, or if you find a gun that already was accurate, that you just make it a speed demon, so when it loses accuracy, it's really not that big of a difference. And even if I'm the greatest COD player of all time, and I make a build that gives me straight speed, ADS, print to fire, and I don't care about recoil because I just have the best aim in the world, more than likely those attachments, mainly the barrel, would probably destroy my bullet reg because of bullet velocity. When that bullet comes out the gun and it travels to the other player, something we've seen in games like Battlefield and certain Halo titles. Yeah, no more hit scan Call of Duty. Compared to a game like BO2, an MSMC sub, and just throw on only quick draw is already a better build and feeling than what we have now and what I consider the CDL era. But yeah, if you want to be faster, nice. You want your gun aiming quicker? Great. More than likely, you are sacrificing your bullet reg just because of bullet velocity. And COD always has been hit scan anyways, like prior, meaning you aim, click, you put in paint immediately. But now it's kinetic, so shots have to actually travel to the other person. It was kind of a thing in BO4 for subs, pistols, and snipers. This is a thing mainly because of Blackout back in BO4, because, you know, Battle Royale, it would make a lot of sense for bullet travel. Imagine hit scan across the map with a sniper rifle or even like an AR. It's definitely not the right move. At some point throughout the year, like in the mid-season, they decided to revert that and make all the guns hit scan for multiplayer with bullet travel in Blackout, which I feel like every COD should have done that has Warzone, but just isn't a thing, unfortunately. And for me, it affects that consistency of that hit marker in your ear, just you're hearing every bullet just hit like really fast, like knowing you're not missing. It might be a minor nitpick nonetheless. Still, it's just something to me. I guess maybe it's like an addiction, to be honest. I love hit markers. I'm kind of bored of FPS games that don't have hit markers. Lastly, with the weapons in MW 2019, they took the real life approach and recorded real gun sounds for each weapon, which is dope and all, but all the charm and what makes a gun iconic is pretty much gone. We all know the intervention sound from MW2 or the BO2 Scorpion, which aren't realistic sounds, but when you hear it, you know what it is. And that's kind of to me what makes old guns like special and iconic. And they brought back these OG guns plenty of times, like for example the intervention. It doesn't sound the same. Now it's realistic and it's heavy and it doesn't even aim in fast and the chamber speed is slow and just not what it used to be. That arcade feeling is gone. But I guess MW2 2022 makes you appreciate this game all that much more because that game showed you just how slow they can make a COD. So with how slow it all is, from your guns to your movement, you still die so fast in this game. So like players don't even need to hit their shots that much. You hit a few shots, maybe to get a headshot in there. It takes even less bullets because the multiplier was crazy. So there's no point in people being accurate anyways. They would just catch you on an off angle in some dark window or some realism. Because again, if you're inside a building and you look outside, it's like kind of bright unless you walk up to like a window. Or if you're outside looking into a building, it's dark because like you're not in the building. And yeah, it's just another little thing about the game capturing that real life vibe that does not do good for gameplay. The impact that Warzone had on COD is honestly beautiful, that we now have a battle royale even more fleshed out in Blackout. Although Blackout in my opinion is still so much fun and in ways better than Warzone. The thing is that Warzone added so much, like the 1v1 gulag, which I think is just new to battle royales in general, just a system to come back into the game and just continue grinding, continue fighting, because other times you'd wipe early if someone died off rip and just back out and start over again. For example, like I would do with my friend in Blackout. There's a buy station, so you can get loadouts, perks, which were temporary perks in Blackout. So another thing that just kind of upped the ante a little bit. Also bringing back homies who lost their gulag or late game when the gulag is now closed. So we have utilities, streaks, and it's just a lot of flavorful things, just layers of the cake added to not just Call of Duty Battle Royale, but to Battle Royale as a market. They're over here breaking records, taking the throne for a good amount of time. But this game was able to bring players from all types of walks of life. Some of the biggest streamers who came from things like other esports or just other titles. Even people who weren't even gamers are now gamers. All because of Warzone. Granted, part of that because of lockdown, but so many people out there would probably tell you that their Call of Duty career started with Warzone. I myself loved Warzone so much when it came out, it was actually an addiction. Even professional CoD players were spending more time on Warzone than they were scrimming, watching film with the team, or just studying VOD alone. Safe to say, it was a success and only got better in year 2 in my opinion. And there was nice improvements in year 3, but we won't talk about year 3 with the adding Caldera, because that map was kind of a flop for pretty much everybody. But fortunately enough, we got Fortune Keep, which Rebirth Island was quite amazing, but for me it wasn't so satisfying because the games were quick. But Fortune Keep was bigger and just felt more dynamic in what I would do on the map, and a little longer game. So I felt it was a nice mix between the longer games of a traditional battle royale and then Rebirth Island. That's what I was grinding so much in year 3. And honestly, it was quite therapeutic for me for what I had going on around that time, and it was just like a way for me to escape. So I really do miss Verdansk, and I wish we still had it. Unfortunately, the 2019 to 2020 season is just a memory at this point. I used to play every day with my best friends, people that I just cherished moments with, and my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we would all just play during lockdown. And it's a special moment, honestly, in my life. And to know that like those people are no longer in my life, of course my ex, and then people like the few friends I had are just now distanced or not on the same terms per se. All cool, but you know what I mean? It's just not what it used to be anymore. And my best friend from that group is like in the military. Dude is not even in America right now. So life has really developed since then for all of us. A lot of growth. But fortunately, with the new CoD coming out, we do have Verdansk, Rebirth, and Fortune's Keep all confirmed to come out in March of next year, which I believe is the 20th of March. I could be wrong about that, but in March, confirmed. So I'm gonna miss hot dropping hangers with the boys on Verdansk, but at least, you know, it's gonna come back someday, right? And as well, Fortune Keep was once T40 in the world, so we'll try to do that again maybe in another off season. As much as I love all of this and how much I hold it in my heart, Warzone is just the reason why CoD is what it is today. I mean, look at Warzone 2 and Al Mazrah and how much they focus on just Al Mazrah Battle Royale, to where our maps for multiplayer are just smaller sections of Al Mazrah. And the worst part is that when you spawn into them, you could still see the whole world. You could go on Fortune Keep, look outside, and see the rest of the world, which only affects your FPS tremendously, of course, but it's just lazy. It's not very inspiring, and it kind of just shows where the devs are when in terms of making these games. And of course, it's an Infinity Ward title, so what do you expect from them? They don't really care about you the way you think they might. It's all about money and speed and efficiency. No matter what happens, as long as the charts look good, that's all that matters to those guys. We could get up to Warzone on why aim assist seems to be so strong nowadays, which is up for debate. It's even better than what it used to be prior. But we went from 50 meters about aim assist, but now we play maps like Warzone where it's humongous. So players with aim assist do need a little bit more aim assist, don't they? So they cranked that up to like 200 meters last time I know about it in like 2019. And it's just the lack of movement, snappiness, mid sprinting, strafing, you name it. And all those things combined were just to keep that battle royale realism. And I think that's why people have this argument how CoD takes no skill. Everyone's good at CoD. It doesn't matter. Timmy with his aim assist could beat you, or the guy always to do a slide cancel and he could beat you no matter how much you play the game. And it's really all goes back to Warzone. The audio, no more dead silence, how everyone has 99 awareness if they just simply have a headset. And if they use a sound EQ, which they do, because that's a thing that got very popular in MW2. So every pub kid just hears you no matter what. So having Daddy back in this new MW3, thank the Lord, because that's gonna hurt a lot of bad players, and I'm grateful for it. A recurring problem we see with past CoD titles is just quote-unquote rush development, things of such. But this game, I would have to confidently say it was fully fleshed out. Mechanics, movement, map detail, graphics, brand new engine for this game, mind you. Yeah, tag spinning is nice, slide canceling is so buttery. Like in terms of that, this is the butteriest game. Is that even a word? It's probably not. But past that, for attachments, guns, strafing, that type of stuff, yeah, it's not great. So, you know, I do want to touch on how lockdown boosted this game so high. I mean, people didn't have anything to do, so what was there? Warzone, free to play on any console or PC. Why not? So everyone was playing Warzone, and this game continued to flourish. It blew up CoD and the money they're making, but unfortunately this was the same year that the CDL started, and that's why I called this the CDL era of Call of Duty. And we only had 2 majors, and after that it was wraps. We got locked down and everything else took place online, which hurt the scene itself. It was hard to grow in the ways you would want, as you know, now being a franchised game like Overwatch was for some time. So this is honestly a really great casual game. Warzone was amazing, but anything past that, and if you want to take this game serious, actually break down this game for what it is on a technical level, this game is one of the worst to ever do it. So that's why I consider the CDL era, because every game after this game is built off this game's just mechanics and feeling, and it's no longer the arcade CoD that we once knew. So the devs don't listen, which is an IW special, and why every time it's their turn, the whole comm scene is worried and not looking forward to it. However, you know, the casuals like, oh my goodness, another Modern Warfare. But promise you, people like me are not happy whatsoever. That's why every off season you see us playing Treyarch titles for fun, for some money, for tournaments, for LANs getting rehosted every year. So yeah, they didn't really care for us in terms of competitive, how the game started, pretty much how the game ended. We did get CDO tuning, which kind of removed headshot multiplier and like mounting, and they only screwed us over more by nerfing no stock, which was a very important attachment that I think only serious sweaty kids use, not, you know, the couch father. As well as they made the iron sight much fatter for the MP5 right before champs, and I mean days before champs. So there's little things like that just frustrated us even more. Like why touch an iron sight, you know? And I can't forget to mention that they'd always would drop updates right before a major or a cup, so that, you know, there might be something new for us that might throw off the game, or even bugs, game breaking bugs. So what is the final verdict on this game? Is it even good? No, not exactly. I think this is actually a pretty bad game, and it was just completely carried by Warzone. You play this game for Warzone. And now that that's officially gone, there is no value at all to go back to this game, other than maybe trying to hit TikTok sliding in an S&D lobby. This game does have a special place in my heart, but this is not a good game whatsoever. It did a lot of new things, a lot of things, you know, I tip my hat to. Spawns suck, guns are Ubin is maps are horrible. I think might just be the worst in the series. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching all the way up until this point. I didn't think we would get here, but we did. A video essay I thought would be a little bit more a cakewalk, but this was more challenging than I expected, and the most time I've ever spent making a video. So thank you guys so much for sticking to the end, and I definitely appreciate you guys staying. So don't forget to sub as well, and remember, Jesus loves you.